Super. Right, I believe we are recording the session now. So hi everybody and welcome to the one where we realise that content is not just our queen, it is in actual fact our kingdom. And I'm really excited to be talking to this session, especially at the Age of Conversation event. Really excited to actually meet so many people, really excited for the day ahead. So shall we kind of get into the sort of main gist of the actual event, the session. So I'll give a bit of a backstory about who I am and why you should listen to me about content. So I am a marketing and events manager for AI Tech North over in the UK. I kind of coordinate a lot of our marketing and our event practices. We've currently had to pivot to this sort of virtual hybrid world, and it's been completely different the way that we used to do our content before. And the whole sort of game has changed now that everybody's online, and you've got to really fight for your sort of space on the internet as well. Alongside being a marketing and events manager for AI Tech North, I also run my own sort of consultancy company where I give sort of strategy sessions about content strategy on LinkedIn and Instagram, which I actually launched last week. So very fresh, which is super exciting. Thank you. And yeah, alongside that, I do a lot of content creation for event management companies. I try and support a lot of younger event professionals, giving them the voice and the platform to talk about issues within the events world, as well as just talking about our true passion and love for the events industry. So yeah, I get into content quite a lot. I also have my own events management blog on Instagram, where I share a lot of ideas, such as my What Nyomi Learns, How Nyomi Parties, which I'll kind of be talking about a lot later as well.
Did you say How Nyomi Packs?
How Nyomi Parties.
Did you say packs? I was so excited for all of your travel photos.
That's such a good idea. Well, right? There we go. So new content idea here, guys, as well. So you don't just get to get some knowledge, you get to also get new content ideas. So yeah, I mean, I also do like good idea travel. My How Nyomi Parties is basically I decided to do it because we was all stuck at home in the midst of lockdown, and I was like, oh, why don't I just throw a party on Instagram Live? Did a live cocktail masterclass sessions, then I also did like live balloon art making, as well as a live cooking session where I did some live canapes. So if you do want to, you can go catch up on that. But yeah, so there was so much fun. And then like my What Nyomi Learns, I share a lot about what I'm currently learning within the events industry, as a lot of people over in the UK have been furloughed from their jobs, so this is a real time for a lot of people who've been learning and trying to upskill themselves, so they can go into their sort of next sort of future employment. So that's about me, and before I kind of actually get into the whole content, I kind of actually like to talk about sort of my actual story during this sort of COVID period. I am actual final year events management student over in Manchester, and I had a full-time job lined up to go and work as an event organizer, and unfortunately that got cancelled, and that was due to COVID. And all the jobs that I just stated earlier, I had to really work very hard to get those jobs, as in I really pivoted to the sort of virtual world. I started being a sort of consistent content creator on LinkedIn and Instagram, and trying to be a thought leader and share my insights and knowledge so that I could potentially gain a future employer, and also network within the events industry during this time. And through that sort of journey, I've been able to bring on all these other jobs, and that's why I want to kind of really talk about the importance of content creation and actually creating valuable content, because it not only helps you know if you have your own company, but also helps you build your own personal brand and build your credibility within your sort of expertise as a professional. Whatever you do, you don't have to have an Instagram Instagram page, this can be on LinkedIn, this can be on Twitter as well. It can be applied through so much sort of content in so many different varieties within the events world. So just before I start, it'd be interesting to see what sort of demographics of people we have. Like, are we event professionals? Are we marketing professionals? Or are we, what are we all so far? Feel free to unmute yourself, or you can put
my background was corporate. So I was at Dell and IBM for 15 years doing all corporate events, running the global event teams at those organizations. And then in 2018, left IBM and we started this crazy Haute Dokimazo, hot rock creative agency thing. So I went from doing content for my businesses to doing content for our company. And it's interesting, across the event industry, there's no like owner, there's no winner. I don't see any one person kind of emerging with true thought leadership in the industry. There's little bits and pieces here and there, and everybody has 200 to 1,000 followers, but there's really no solid thought leadership. And I think that once we get started here, I want to talk about the definition really of content, because people are putting out sales crap and calling it content, and that's not content. So anyway, that's where I stand.
I completely agree with that. I think that's why I think, and as well, on top of that, the event professionals have so much power to change within the industry. We hold so many events, whether they're virtual or physical, and we bring so many people together, and I feel like we should really have a voice and actually be leading for other people to copy not copy, but you know what I mean, to really say we are, leading. We cover so much, like we're all saying, we cover so many different aspects. We do marketing, we do events management, we do AV production, we do, you name it, we kind of cover everything. And I think we have a voice, and not a lot of event professionals, and I think it's also because we're very busy people, we don't have time to maybe potentially put out all of this content, but hopefully I'll be able to simplify that process for everyone. But yeah, what sort of other jobs are we all in?
I've been working in events for the last 10 years, so government to charity to freelance work, so yeah, event professional.
Yes. Hi Denise, me and Denise are very good friends over on Instagram, and we actually connected through our content creation during this period, so that just shows again the power of content here. And I think, Gigi, what is your sort of background as well?
So I started out as a network television news producer in the US and then later in London, and then shifted to the internet, came back to the States and started producing content for agencies. And now in the corporate world like Liz, but as an account-based marketer. So kind of taking content and making it very human and personal. And on my LinkedIn, I have trying to make the complex conversational. So I'm really interested in how content can lead with the human, the emotion, to cut through the clutter.
Yeah, completely agree. Yeah, we will definitely be covering lots of that as well. And what about yourself, Fan?
I come from a nonprofit background, and the last place I worked, we had a huge content team, and so I'm kind of rusty on that. So I thought I'd come and learn a little bit of tips and tricks and like what's going on now.
Yeah, definitely. And it's really interesting to hear everyone's background, and that we're all event professionals and we're all wanting to optimize our sort of content creation. So I think it would be great to definitely start off with saying we've got to make sure that our sort of content, I mean, I'm sure we've all heard that sort of saying before, where we want to get people to know, like, and trust us. And that's the same whether it's you're a business or whether you're trying to do this for your sort of personal branding. And there's lots of different pillars that I like to go off. So I like to always think about originality, understanding the audience, sort of the value of the content and your consistency, as well as sort of networking as well, which is so huge, especially when it comes to content creation. You know, we can all create really cool content, but if we haven't got a community or a network behind us, unfortunately it is a bit of a waste. So yeah, so let's get into sort of content. Does anyone have any questions so far, or should we move on? No, superb. Okay, so like I said earlier, the sort of age of internet has completely changed. COVID has changed a lot of stuff, such as algorithms on LinkedIn and Instagram. It's not how it used to be a couple months ago, and we've got to kind of work around that and also optimize social media tools, which are all free, and we've got to really understand what each sort of feature sort of means as well. So I like I said earlier, originality is always really important, I always feel. So we've always, I mean, we're living in a world where everyone's kind of covered all of this content, but how can we actually make it more about ourselves? So like I mentioned earlier, I have my Instagram page, which is What Nyomi Does, and I had spin-offs where I did do my What Nyomi Learns. Instead of a lot of people who I usually see who share certificates or sort of examples of what they've currently learned and the certificates they've gained or achievements, instead of just showcasing that, why can't you maybe package that in a way which is kind of is niche to yourself, where you can put your sort of own stamp on it, your own sort of watermark, and say, instead of, oh, this is a certificate I have just recently gained, why can't you actually share your journey behind that? So why can't you talk about why you wanted to go and learn that, and how it's actually started to improve within your life? And I think it's all, the sort of content writing behind everything is all about how you can create that sort of story and that journey as well. It's not just posting, like Liz was saying, just putting sales up there. It doesn't mean anything. People want to be able to connect and really resonate with what you're saying. So having that originality is so important, to put your niche on, to stand out and differentiate yourself amongst many other people who are also doing that sort of same content. So the other thing is definitely understanding your audience. So you've got to understand them, so you can really target them. So you can usually do a lot of this by using sort of hashtags, and you can analyze these hashtags. You can just search on, for example, Instagram or LinkedIn, as well as a lot of free social media tools such as All Hashtag, which is a really great tool. Yeah.
Question for you, Naomi. So I've been reading and listening to podcasts and all the things about the hashtags, and LinkedIn says don't use more than 3, put the rest in the comment. And Instagram says use all of them everywhere, comments and all over the place. So do you have recommendations on how hashtags actually get caught the best?
Yes, definitely. LinkedIn is like my worst enemy sometimes with the way they change the algorithms. I can't keep up with it. I try and hack it, but I just can't do it. And I always usually say to a lot of people I work with, hashtags, always try and keep to maximum 5 hashtags. 3, it's good.
3's not enough. It's not enough to tell my story.
Exactly. and you always want to try and put in sort of hashtags that are either a local base, national base, and usually a sort of worldwide one, so that you can hit the different demographics as well. Another thing to note on LinkedIn: never ever put a link in any of your LinkedIn posts. LinkedIn simply won't push it out because you're directing people off the platform, and LinkedIn wants to keep as many people on there. So one way to combat that is to put your link in the comment section. So you can usually just say link to register to the event is in the comments. That's one way to go about sort of using LinkedIn as well.
And someone had pinged me yesterday because I dropped in one of our YouTube videos in the LinkedIn post, and she said that you'll get more views if you organically upload it to LinkedIn directly from your phone rather than putting it on YouTube. I don't know, anything there?
I think LinkedIn is actually really not bothered about that. I think as long as you putting content out there, it's happy. But like I said, in terms of putting YouTube, you want to put it in the comment section. So try and stay away from putting stuff into the main body of the post. Keep it in the comment section. But if it's something that is really important, for example, a video about your launch of a new venture or a new event you're going to be talking at, LinkedIn has a feature on their profile page called Featured, where you can actually attach any links, any YouTube videos, anything like that. So use that feature instead. And like all the other platforms, they love it when you use all of their functionalities. So if you go into LinkedIn and you start putting some more information about your experiences, your volunteering, endorsements, the more of their functions you use, the more they'll push you out, the more they'll actually help you with getting your content out there as well. And that's the same with Instagram. So when you're using Instagram, really use the sort of tagging. Even if you're not tagging anyone, just tag yourself in the post, because because that helps you. Even if some people actually don't follow you, if they'll click on your post and then they'll be able to say, oh, this is that person, I'll go follow them. So you can go about it that way as well. You try and use as many of the functionalities that they have. So like on Instagram, tag yourself. Also put a location in, even if you're just at home, or even if it doesn't really necessarily have a location, try and use that as well, because that really helps with your sort of SEO on all of your posts as well.
That's interesting. I don't think I've ever put a location on any of our business posts because I was afraid it would actually limit us.
No. Yeah, so yeah, that's really interesting. Because like I said, I mean, it depends if obviously if you're doing sort of general promotional posts, maybe not put like, you know, where you're currently based. You could say something like America, and then it'll be a bit more global, so then it'll reach more people. So you can use it in that sort of way as well. So you've got to think before each sort of post you're gonna sort of schedule what the value is for the audience, what people you want to see that post, and that's where you can start to really see what tags you want to have, the locations and hashtags. So that's definitely my advice for like understanding LinkedIn and Instagram. I'm a bit of a guru with them. I'm not too clung up on with Twitter, for example. I can't hack Twitter.
I haven't used Twitter since 2010.
You've got to be a right person to use Twitter. I'm not that. I'm very weird with Twitter. I love my LinkedIn and I love my Instagram, and trying to keep those two close to my heart is very important. But yeah, so that's what to say. Definitely with understanding your audience. I always try and like to do all my posts to either educate, entertain, or inspire people. Those are the usual sort of three sort of pillars that I like to go off all my posts. Is people gonna be educated, or is this a sort of inspirational journey, or a post I like to share, or is this just a meme? Is this just something funny? For example, the elephants in Thailand. You know, there's different sort of bands that you can go off as well. And the other thing I'd like to talk about as well is sort of value and the sort of consistency aspect as well of content creation. So always asking, what is the value of this content? So what do you want people to gain value from this? Do you want them to buy your product? Do you want them to buy your service? Or do you just want to network with people? You know, really sort of understand that, and that's where that can help you with the sort of content writing as well. So you can really sort of start niching your content writing. I always like to do 3 again. 3 is my favorite number. I always like to do that in sort of different bands, keeping everything clear, concise and consistent. So I usually like to ask what this is, how this has helped me or can help you, and then why is this important? And that's what I usually like to go off. So it's, like I said, clear, concise, so people aren't reading just a load of extra sort of text that doesn't actually help them. Just trying to keep it very sort of simple for people to understand, because like I said, there's so much stuff out there. We've got to really make sure that we're using the right words, using the right terminology to really push that across. Consistency is key. So, you know, we can all create really great content, but if you're just going to put something up maybe once a week or then drop off and then come back up and do this, not only will it kind of affect the sort of algorithm for your sort of posting, but it'll also your community won't be as engaged with you. I mean, we all go through times when we need to take a break, but also trying to just engage with other people as well, I think is very important.
How much do you put up kind of like organically daily as you're thinking versus planning things out a week in advance?
Yeah, so I plan all of my content every Sunday. I have my content day, which is where I let my brain just think for 2 hours, and I write a load of sort of content ideas out, and then I like to plan my content. I do 3 posts a week, so I usually go off Mondays, Wednesdays, and either Thursdays or Fridays. I usually switch between those 2 days depending on work and whether I can actually engage with those posts beforehand. But that's what I would say in terms of my sort of planning. Because I always try, every time I post something, I always try to have about 20 to 15 minutes beforehand of where I go onto, for example, Instagram, and I'm liking different Instagram posts, or I'm commenting on different people's posts, or I'm reacting to their Instagram stories, or commenting on LinkedIn, or following people on LinkedIn as well, because what that does is it helps you stay relevant beforehand, and the social media platforms will see that you're doing all this work and that you're using the platform. So when you put something out, they'll decide to push it even further because they see you're an active user. So that's what I usually like to do. I usually try and do that, like I say, 15 minutes beforehand. So then when the post goes out, it's all fresh, so that it just shows that I'm very active beforehand and engaging straight after the post is up. So I try and do, every time someone comments, I try and comment back, and try and like their sort of comments as well. So trying to keep up with it as well. 15 minutes beforehand, 15 to 30 minutes after the post goes up as well, to really try and stay engaged. But I mean, at the moment, my sort of workload has been incredibly busy. So sometimes we don't actually manage to get to comment on other people's posts. But as long as you do that, it doesn't really matter. Just as long as you sort of reply back, because as long as you're just showing that you're actively using the platform, the social media outlet will really help you with that. So that's how I try and keep up that sort of level of engagement, and try and keep the consistency as well. And I'd just like to point out that it doesn't actually matter what time you post, really. It depends obviously on your time zones. Obviously, if you're going to put something out midnight, people will be asleep. So obviously you've got to be mindful, but if you're going to post something at 10 a.m, whether it's 4 p.m, it actually doesn't really matter as long as you're being active on that platform. They'll always sort of support you in that, as long as you are also, like I said, still commenting. You can put it up in your Instagram story as well, so you can keep it refreshing people's minds, and also continue that conversation as well. I always like, when I share something like my What Nyomi Learns, I always kind of have a little bit of a discussion on my Instagram story to get people to go back onto my feed, or either just have a conversation with me. So always trying to have that community engagement as well.
So Instagram stories, I am completely like, I don't understand it at all or how to do it. Nicole does all of our stories because I can't figure that out. I understand the feed and I do all the feed stuff, but stories go away after 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
So
stories,
what's the benefit of pushing stories out?
Stories are the best thing ever to use on Instagram. Yeah, I think, I mean, from my sort of research and what's been working for me, Instagram stories are incredible. More people see my Instagram stories than they actually see my feed. So I always try and do around about 3 to 5 different sort of Instagram stories on that day. But the trick with Instagram stories is that it's not a sort of feed where you have to say sort of loyal to your brand. You know, show them people behind the scenes, or show them you going to get a coffee, or show them, you know, a meal that you're going to be eating. So I mean, people think, oh, why do people care? But people like to know the people, and if you're wanting to sell something, people want to get to know, like, can trust you. So if you're going to be opening up, people will also feel like they get to know you a little bit more as well. So I always think that IG story is really good to show the behind the scenes. So, you know, talk about if you've had like a really long day at work and you know you might be feeling a little bit tired or something like that, or you've accomplished something. I always think IG stories is perfect for that. And I always like to show my face. Showing your face is so important, especially now video content is amazing. Video content gets pushed out so much more than usual standard and sort of text or imagery content, and that's simply because, well, I mean, I think it's because that we're all living in a world where we actually can't meet up with as many people as we usually do. So when people get to see the face, it kind of helps everyone kind of stay connected in a sort of disconnected world, if that kind of makes sense. So that's what I always think is so important, you know, show up and show your face and kind of have that sort of nice conversation.
So for your business or for corporate or for any of these things, how much do you feel like you should be, so you mentioned educate, inform, and inspire. Nowhere in there did you say sales, but all of the companies, including our own, are trying to sell. And then we know the Gary Vaynerchuk, what is it, jab, 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 right hook. So give, 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 and then ask for something. Where do you stand in when you're asking people to give you money for something?
I actually don't ask. I don't actually state anything really what I do. What I do is I show my testimonials. I get my clients to record the videos of why they really liked my services, or like I say, give me a quote on that. But I wouldn't necessarily put up, oh, this is what I'm doing, and buy from me, because why should I buy from you? Really, why should I buy from you? I don't know who you are. I don't actually really trust you. So I usually, yeah, I don't really like that sort of concept where just putting stuff out there. I think you've got to show a bit more personality behind what you're doing instead. And yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't really like doing that sort of stuff. I like to, like I said, show my testimonials, show people's true emotions as well. Yeah, I hope that answers your question.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, superb. So yeah, so in terms of like other sort of tips and tricks, I definitely say try and make your content as shareable as possible. So if, for example, if you have your business, and for example with mine, I do my content strategy sessions, what I always like to say is try and put your, like I said, put your own twist on it. So if you're wanting to promote something, why can't you show that being used, or the sort of behind the scenes of that being created, or how it looked beforehand, the sort of inspiration that you actually got from that. Like, what was your journey with actually creating that new venture or that new service, that new product? There's lots of handy sort of websites like Canva, which I hope we all have. Canva is incredible with doing content creation. I still can't believe it's a free tool. I don't understand that. Yeah, Canva is incredible with sort of giving you the sort of tools on how to do that as well. You know, you can also show, if you're wanting to sell, you can show about your milestones. You know, I'm really excited to be talking about this today. For example, this is our sort of first anniversary of this product, and this is why our clients really like it. So kind of trying to have just a bit more than just this is what I got, buy it from me. You know, trying having that sort of authenticity as well behind what you are doing. So those are my sort of overall tips and tricks. It'd be interesting to hear if anyone has any questions, or if there's anything that I can help anyone with. Exactly.
What is that tool? Is it Canva?
C-A-N-V-A. I'll put it
Yeah.
there. That's what
and
we
then
early do all of our Haute Dokimazo marketing in Canva. We pay
Canva
a month to get access to the pictures.
Oh, cool. And then the other question I had was, how do you vary the content between the platforms to make it look not just a regurgitation of things from platform to platform, but to really make it special?
Yeah, so with my content, actually, I use the same content on my LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter. But what I do is, for example, my LinkedIn, I'll kind of share a bit more about my sort of journey and actually my sort of key learnings. I like to use LinkedIn to show off my sort of credibility, my sort of profession. And then I like to use Instagram to kind of share the sort of more fun stuff, like the top tips or the sort of more fun aspects behind. Then Twitter, I mean, it's difficult. I mean, I can't usually talk in 150 characters, but you just make it work. So with Twitter, I try and condense it, sort of key points, and then always try and sort of put a link into where they can access the full post on LinkedIn. But with varying content, I mean, it depends on what sort of platforms you're using. LinkedIn, like I said, I usually just stick with sort of text posts. I switch between sometimes videos once a week as well, because the LinkedIn algorithm likes it when you, like I said earlier, when you use more of their functions. So if you're just going to be posting text, the LinkedIn won't usually push it as much as they usually do. But if you put in an image or an infographic, so you know, if you've been to an event or if you learned something new, put that into an infographic, put your key learnings in there, the resources that people can take away from that as well. So really add that in. Videos as well do amazing on every single platform. People love videos. There's lots of different tools that you can create easy videos, such as Mojo, and that's a really good app where you can actually create really good Instagram stories, as well as you can switch it between doing more Twitter posts or LinkedIn posts. There's also an app called Splice. Now that's a really good one for editing. You can literally just do it on your phone, so you don't have to, you know, get Photoshop or anything like that. You can just do everything all on your phone. So there's so many different tools that are out there. I hope that answers your question. Yeah, oh, that's superb. But yeah, like I was saying, you just got to make sure that you understand what audience you wanted to reach for. So, like I said, LinkedIn and Instagram have two completely different sort of people on there, and you just got to identify that as much as possible.
So Nyomi, do you see that using hashtags drives more audience, or do you do other things that drive people to your page to get followers?
So on my Instagram, I actually don't really use hashtags that much. What I actually do is I go onto the explore page on Instagram and I search for the sort of key hashtags that I like to see. So for example, hashtag event profs is the most popular one. And then what I actually like to do is then go through that page and then like and engage with people on there. And for example, the other day when I put out a new post, I went beforehand and went onto the event profs hashtag on Instagram, and I went onto different people's posts and I saw who was engaging with those posts, and whoever was engaging, if they were kind of giving the right message, I'd follow them. I'd also like their link, their sort of comments as well. So that's how I like to use it. Sometimes when you use hashtags too much, actually I'll mention that as well, if you use the same hashtags every single post, you'll lose the quality and they won't actually push it out. So you've got to have different sort of groups of hashtags. So if you are doing your inspiration, so if you split your post into inspiration, education, and entertainment, have 3 different groups of hashtags for each one. So then you can mix between all the hashtags so that you won't get reported, because that's happened with at work. We use the same hashtags all the time, and we was like, why is our engagement at like 40 people for this day? And that's because we use the same hashtag for a week. Well, not the same hashtag group for a week. So you've got to always try and change it up. Like I said, all hashtag is a great tool that helps you find out what the sort of most trending hashtags are currently, and they change every single day as well. So that's one way that it can help you. All hashtag.
All hashtag. Okay.
Yeah. I'll put that into the box. Yeah, all hashtag is another great one that I like to use. And then there's also, if you're looking to kind of do more sort of take content from other people, and what I mean by that is if you see other engaging images or videos, you can actually take those videos and images and repost them yourself, but also you have to credit them. But there's sort of different tools that you can use to take these sort of content, so you can use it for yourself and put your own sort of stance on it as well.
So good.
So yeah. Oh, that's great to hear. I hope I've answered some questions. Please do feel free to ask me anything. I'm around a lot today, which is great news.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you. We have this embedded Google page in each of the rooms, and so I took notes for the whole session. So I've got everything that you said here. If you want to go give that a look and make sure I didn't misquote you on anything, but this was so great.
Oh, that's so great to know, and I think it's so important to definitely be having this conversation with everyone and really talk about content, and hopefully empowered you to really take on your sort of content session, your content creation. And in terms of managing content, if that's something that's a bit overwhelming at the moment, because I know we all have so much stuff to do at the time, I always pre-schedule all my content. So I use Hootsuite to do that because I like the LinkedIn function for that. But there's lots of different sort of scheduling sort of platforms such as Later, Buffer, what are the other ones? Planoly. They're really good ones as well to use to pre-schedule content. So like I said, I do all my content scheduling on Sunday, so I'm all ready for the week ahead, and I can just crack on with work and not have to keep on doing, going on and posting all the time.
So good.
Super.
Well, I know we went well over your time, but thank you so much for staying. I was riveted and taking all the notes.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe the time. Time flies when you're having fun.
Thank you so much.
You have another session coming up later too, right?
Yes, so later today, I think it's 4 p.m. my time. I'm not too sure what it is. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be talking about artificial intelligence, which is my sort of passion in the events industry. So I'll be talking about how artificial intelligence is in the events industry and how we event profs can actually start adopting this new tech. So please feel free to join. I'm actually really excited about that session as well.
That is so awesome. I think that is 12 o'clock noon Central Time. So I can't thank you enough for being here with us today, and we'll see you at that session.
No worries. Thank you so much, everybody. And please do connect with me, LinkedIn or Instagram, What Nyomi Does or Nyomi Rose. But yeah, it was lovely to meet everyone.
You too. Thank you so much.
Meet you.
Good rest of your day.
Yes, and you as well. Nice to meet everyone. Bye.
Bye.